Hello and welcome everybody to the latest episode of N1 from the End Zone with your favorite host, King N.P.V. And on this episode, ladies and gentlemen, I will be breaking down the Micah Parson trade to the Green Bay Packers and giving you my thoughts and my perspective on this move that almost imitates the Herschel Walker move. Not to the same extent, but you're going to hear me out here in a bit. So let's get into it.
You're watching the latest episode of N1 from the End Zone. Please click on that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content rocks. Now, let's kick it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this past week, essentially, I think on Thursday, I believe it was on Thursday, Jerry Jones pulled off a deal to send Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers in exchange for Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. Now, a lot has been said, but here, first thing we're going to do is get into the press conference where Jerry Jones talks about the trade situation and what he got in return. So let's just get into that right now.
Please decide to trade Micah Parsons.
Well, without being too broad, obviously, we did think it was in the best interest of our organization, not only the future, but right now, this season as well. We gained a Pro Bowl player. We've gained a Pro Bowl player in an area that we had big concerns in on the inside of our defense. Let me go beyond your question. First of all, I want to tell you that I really like Micah. I appreciate the 4 years that we've had him here, and he's a great player. And so we are very appreciative of the fact that he's a great player. There's no question that I could have signed him in April. And so we all know that to have agreements, all parties have to agree. But this was by design. I did make Mike an offer. It wasn't acceptable, and I honor the fact that it wasn't done in the way that he wanted to do it through an agent. So he was made an offer. There's not an ounce of vindictiveness. There's no bad feelings on my part about the fact that we didn't come together on an agreement. The facts are, and we'll cover it, I'm sure, with many of your questions, but the facts are, specifically, we need to stop the run. And we haven't been able to stop the run at key times for several years. And when you have the kind of extraordinary pass rush that Michael had, then the way to mitigate that pass rush is to run at you. If the pass rush doesn't get you ahead pretty big time, and you're playing even or behind, then you've really got a problem in stopping the run. And so we have felt, as we embark on changing things, we have a coach that we're mighty proud of in Brian. And we're excited about the changes that we're making, not only in the coaching staff, but in the team. I think out of our 60 players that we would count as the actives and 8% of the practice squad, over 1/3 of those players are new. And so we are doing what I've said many times, that if you are the one that owns, and when you look in the mirror, you've got to change. And so that this was a very deliberate, as it played out, reflection on a key player that could bring us a lot of consideration. A lot of consideration now in the player that we got that can help us stop the run, and a lot of consideration in the future. A lot of capital that is required to build a team. It takes many players to be tried to play in the NFL. It takes 11 on the field at the same time. It takes a minimum of 30 or 40 at minimum to have both defense and offense, not including players that are involved in our special teams. So it takes more than one. And so you do have to allocate your resources, whether it be draft picks or whether it be finances. You have to allocate those resources. There was no question in our mind that Michael could bring us a lot of resources on a trade. That has been on my mind since we hired Brian. And so there was no question. As it turns out, all the publicity about the not having a contract, certainly you did your part in making sure that it was known that he was potentially available, and I appreciate that very much. And I say that a little tongue-in-cheek. I'm not really as serious about it. But I will say this, that it was important that we did get, if we could get it, the kind of interest that we got in making a trade for Mike. He was an asset that we got 4 great years out of. But when you are talking about making a contract the kind that he got and for the future, that's quite a commitment. And none of that counts about what he did those first 4 years. It all goes against what he can do for you in the future, the length of that contract and maybe more. Well, then you've got to really weigh how many players. And I'm just going to give you this. Not only do we immediately get a player, but those draft picks could get us, I'm talking top Pro Bowl type players could. Not necessarily going to be quick to say you won't necessarily get those players. You've got to draft them or acquire them. But they could get us as few as 3 or as many as 5 outstanding players. Now, not only do they contribute in a game that needs a lot of players on the field, not to be elementary, but they also give you better odds that they're going to be a high percentage of those are going to be available. just from the standpoint of attrition or from the standpoint of just sheer limit on how far one player can go. Very few players are Dion playing 100 plays a game out there at the time. So this trade was not just thought about today. This trade has been going on in our minds and our strategies and being talked about. It's been going on all spring. It culminated today, and it came quick, but that's the way things go. It does happen fast when it happens. But you've laid a lot of water. I mean, you've laid a lot of things out there on the water to make it happen. I want to be sure that our fans understand. I think a lot of Micah. And I wish him so much success. I don't want him to have success when he plays the Cowboys as much as I do want him to have overall success. But Micah Parsons did an outstanding job for us for 4 years. And a little bit of the way Herschel Walker may have had his greatest contribution to the Cowboys. What he brought to us when he left could be a tremendous thing for our fans and the success of this team. Kenny Clark. We really knew beginning this spring that if we could pick up a top interior defensive lineman just to offset not having a pass rusher, even though it's Micah, but where we're strong is in our pass rushing depth. And we knew if we could get an interior lineman, that was at least something that would improve us right there on a top interior lineman. He comes in strong for us, and he comes in accomplished for us. And so we're glad to have him. It was a prerequisite. We went down the teams, and we only picked teams that had room on their cap that could pay Micah, and we only picked teams that had top tackles, interior tackles, that we wanted to have any dialogue with at all about a trade. That was the criteria of trading. Top existing tackle that could come in here and play for us right now, this year, and offset the fact, to whatever degree, more or less, that we don't have that excellence that Michael Parsons has there, but we do have the depth to come in here and do that. And then if we could get the picks that we ultimately getting, and we did have several teams that we might have had an opportunity to do something with. We did have that. And so this was no instantaneous happening this afternoon over about a 5-minute period. The other thing that I would like to say is I firmly made a commitment to Michael this spring, Micah, and paid him, and to pay him. At that time, I was battling and knew that the other alternative probably was. I had no idea what we might be able to get. But I knew that it was very likely to be several players that we could use those resources for all the way, draft picks as well as cap space. And so that was on our mind. The minute that we saw that we were quite possibly were going to have an issue about whether or not we could do a contract or not, that gave us time. That gave us imagineering. That coupled with bringing in a new coach and bringing in a new staff, we felt it fit for us to have more players, more excellent players, if we do a good job of acquiring those players, plus have a team this year that would give us a better chance, dare I say that? But absolutely, it's not a zero that we're dealing with as far as how much better that we were trying to be, even not having Micah. I've got several other things that I could answer a question with, but I'll stop and just let you ask questions.
The only other thing, you did an amazing job of covering it extensively, but because we have thought about this a lot. But the other thing came into play big was between Coach Schottenheimer and Coach Eberflus, and talking about the defense and obviously getting a player like Kenny Clark, is we also feel like in addition to the depth is you can scheme pressure as well. And I think Coach Eberflus has been really good at that in terms of using scheme to get pressure on the quarterback. But what's tough to scheme is to stop the run.
The other thing.
So we're actually going to stop the video here, and then we're going to go shoot over to the Micah Parsons press conference, his introductory press conference with the Green Bay Packers. However, I don't necessarily disagree with Jerry. I understand Cowboy fans, and I know the national media has had a field day that this is the worst trade in all of Cowboys history or whatnot. Realistically, though, I think Jerry's, in my honest opinion, acknowledging the fact that the Cowboys are in a rebuild mode right now. Right now, they're not necessarily ready to compete this year. And with the players that they have in this trade acquisition, you got Kenny Clark, who is, like Jerry said, a Pro Bowl interior defensive lineman, right? You also got 2 first-round picks. Essentially, you got 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years, right? In exchange for Micah Parsons, who went to the Green Bay Packers, who signed a $188 million deal for 4 years, averaging, I think, $47 million a year. He's not just making he's not just the highest paid defensive player in the entire NFL, or highest paid player position player in the NFL right now. He's like for the defensive side of the ball, he's I think $6 million clear of the second highest paid defensive player, which I think would be Myles Garrett, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a reason why his agent did this for Micah, right? There's a reason why he told Jerry to essentially stick the offer up his ass. If you go look at the Michael Irvin podcast, Jerry uses those exact words. That's why you gotta love Jerry Jones, okay? Because Jerry makes himself fucking lovable by being honest. Now, I do think he wasn't intending to trade Micah. He wanted to do what he did with Dak. basically make him play in his franchise, his last year out, franchise tag him, and then ultimately give him a deal because he got frustrated with how negotiations had been going with Micah. There's an extent to where I believe Jerry when it comes to the negotiations, where he says basically we came to an agreement. He contacted me. We were talking about leadership, and that's I think it makes sense. He was talking about leadership because he was going to basically take 2/3 of the available money, right? With that being said, it looks like they came to some sort of agreement between the two of them without Micah's agent being present. Because of that, Micah ultimately went back to his agent, like Marcelo Swiley basically breaks it down, and his agent calls Jerry and tells him to stick the offer up his ass. Now, the offer that was reportedly made by Jerry Jones was, I think, a 5-year deal, essentially for $190 million, which would have been about $40 million a year for the deal that Micah would have had with the Dallas Cowboys. David Mulughetto went out of it literally with this trade, got him a deal that's less years for more money. He did his job. And let's face it, like Jerry, I understand Jerry's perspective. The player came to him wanting to negotiate his contract directly with him. And then he told you to go through his agent. Now, I think Jerry got upset because of the back and forth, because I think he saw Micah to an extent like Michael Irvin, where he would have been a Dallas Cowboy for life or whatnot, right? However, once things started going sour, I think Jerry really intended to just hold on to him, and then ultimately this happened. Let's go check out Micah Parsons. Let's go check out Micah Parsons' interview after these messages.
Guys, have you heard? Nelson, tell the people.
Shady Mob Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons.
Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
You're watching the latest episode of N1 from the End Zone. Please click on that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it.
Guys, join me, Alex the Man Angelov, and check out A&A Radio, where we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest financial news, investments, banking, and personal finance. Check out the channel and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area and want the best cut of your life, go check out Headspins Barbershop, located in South San Francisco, the official barbershop of N1 from the End Zone.
Guys, you're watching a Shady Mob production. Make sure to follow the Shady Mob podcast, where we break down all the latest content and talk about life. Please make sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
And we are back. So we're going to listen to the introductory press conference for Micah Parsons with the Green Bay Packers. And then after that, I'm going to give you my authentic thoughts on this entire situation, because you'd be surprised. I really think I'm on Jerry's side on this, and I'll tell you why. Let's do this.
Yeah, man, I think it's something a little bit from me yesterday. I was going a little crazy with the fan, but just being here and taking in just the facilities and everything and the welcome, I think I'm pretty honed in and really know what I'm about and pretty aware of everything.
Got a number picked up yet?
Yeah, number one. I'm going with number one.
Could you just, over the past few days, what's this process been like for you? And when did you kind of realize I'm going to be a Packer?
Yeah, once I found out about, the agreement and came down to negotiations, at first it was like, obviously, like anyone, I got kids, I got, a house, I got family, they all moved down for me. And it's a change, right? And I had to sit down and talk to my family about this potential opportunity, and that's when, I got the chance to speak, with some other guys and faculty about what it could be like if I decided to come here. And, once I got that comfort zone, and they said, and, I got to talk to Rashid a little bit, that's my guy from Penn State, came in together. This is like, it's like Penn State, like, it's like home, like, this is like a brotherhood, like, it's safe, you focus on ball, and, we keep everything the right thing. It kind of gave me comfort, and it kind of gave me a better decision. Like, okay, this is the place where I feel like I can take my next step and continue to have a great legacy here.
Did you have any say in where you could go or where you might go?
No, I didn't have any say. It was just, I would say I'm pretty lucky because I understand the rich history of the Packers, and the fact that they had interest in me, understand that they had a pretty tough team already in the NFC, and I was pretty much geared up, ready to play them, looking for revenge. But now I'm on the other side of adding to this rich history and being able to play with these guys and suit up and, play. I'm very excited.
Where are you at physically, and what's a reasonable expectation for what you can do next Sunday?
I'm going to talk. Well, I think physically, I'm great. I think I can contribute a lot. I'm going to team up with the doctors to create a plan. We already talked about how we can ramp things up and get me into a flow where they feel comfortable and I feel comfortable. But my plan is to be here. They didn't give up what they gave up for me to sit on the sidelines and make this big of a risk and change for me to do that. So I'm going to give my all.
Michael, what's your relationship like with Jordan Love, and was the podcast the only time you tried to recruit you here?
Oh man, I don't think it was ever like a serious conversation because even me, like many of us, I never thought I'd be traded. But that's the harsh reality. But me and Jordan, we're super close. I would say, obviously having the same agent, me and Jordan been together in Dubai, and through the podcast, Super Bowl weekends. So we got a very good relationship. He's somebody I know that we're very competitive when we're around each other. So I know what type of quarterback he is. I'm very fond of Jordan too, just about the quarterback he is and what he can be and how he just keeps getting better.
You said you were expected to be traded. How does it feel now to be in this position?
Honestly, everything happens for a reason. It's a blessing in disguise. I may not know how to answer for you yet, but I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna work hard every day to prove that the Packers organization made the right decision and trusted me, and I'm gonna carry that with me.
There's something that you and Jordan also had in common besides the age. You guys both had success in this league. You're still kind of looking for that ultimate prize. How you got to see this team up close a couple years ago? How much are you just anticipating the opportunity to win here? Now, how much is that on your mind?
Oh man, winning is everything to me. I don't think you're gonna find a more competitive person on the team or anywhere in the NFL when it comes to anything we do. We go out shoot hoops. We could go out there and throw a baseball. See who can throw the hardest, whether it's miles per hour. We could go run 40-yard sprints. I wait till you get tired if you're faster than me. I don't think you're gonna find someone that's more competitive. So when you talk about winning and the stage of what it takes, I haven't been there, and I don't know what it takes, but I got a funny feeling that a lot of this history, this program does. They went further than us, and obviously they had a big one against us, and I trust Coach LaFleur, and I really feel like we can do it, and like I said, I really want to win real bad.
What have your conversations been like with Hafley, and what's the plan look like for the next week to get up to speed in the defense?
I'm gonna meet with him Monday. Actually, we're gonna meet a little bit when I come in on Sunday. Obviously, get a little bit ready, but he says he got a lot planned for me. I don't know what this game look like. I just got my iPad today, so I'm gonna look over it, and I'm super excited, man. I know about his creativity. I heard a lot. Obviously, I watch their defense a lot, but I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to get better, and be a dominant player for him.
Look, in your social media video after the trade, you had some Reggie White clips interspersed into it. A, why was that important to you? But B, is that the kind of guy you're chasing to be? Obviously you're all pro, but legendary Super Bowl winning, all-timer kind of guy?
Yeah, 100%, bro. Reggie is like one of the GOATs. I'm just looking at his stats, and the fact he had like 70 sacks in like 5 years is just like outrageous to me. And this guy's just like this freak. And I didn't even know. I just learned more history about him today, just about how he's the first free agent and how he came here and won championships. And yeah, people make the comparisons, but I just looked at him like somebody who won. He came here. He can do that. I think I can do that too. I think I can do anything I put my mind to. I looked on that wall and I saw Brett Favre. I saw Reggie. I saw all those legends, and I was like, I got to be there. And you go near the draft room, and they're all having their hands up, and they're having that moment. I'm looking for that moment, and I'm going to take advantage of this moment and maximize it to reach that moment.
But do you have a preference in how you're used? You were used differently in Dan Quinn's, defense than you were in Zimmer's, where you were just taking your hand down a lot. Do you have a preference like you would like to move around?
Yeah, I love to move around. I think that creates the matchups that we like. Because let's be honest, man, it's hard to get to the quarterback in this league, and you got to win favorable matchups. So when I get the opportunity of not getting double teamed, I got to win that matchup, and I got to take advantage of that and get pressure on the quarterback. Or else, it's kind of easy for a team to kind of program say, hey, he's always going to be a left side. So that's why I like to alternate. I like to go. Sometimes I want to be on the right side. Sometimes I want to be on the left side. I just try to maximize my game so that way I can't be limited or schemed against. So I pretty much I'm cool to drop, show up, come over to A gap, come over to B gap. So I'm really valuable in every which way I think I can win at any spot on the field. It's just about am I going to be put there? And that's the type of guy he is.
But I think we all saw the video of you and your mom kind of sharing that moment. Can you just bring to what that meant for you, especially everything you already overcome?
Yeah, so my mom, she's probably the hardest working person I ever met in my life, and it's hard for people to even compare. Just seeing how I grew up, seeing all her work, her struggles, and obviously we had a conversation when I was a rookie. But I was like, money don't last long. Let me see if we get to the next one, because that's the most important one. Because she was like, I don't want you to be dependent on you. I'm gonna kind of wait until see how you do. And even now, I say, you can stop now. She's like, no, I want to finish my years. Like, you gotta understand the type of person he is. So just to take that relief off her shoulders and say, you can stop putting your years in. And I seen her work since I was a boy, so that's 26 years and beyond that. Because my brother's 30, I working 3 jobs, 2 jobs. Now she can just chill out for a while. And I told her, before I was like, because she was like, I can help you with your kids. I was like, you just want to travel a little bit first, like see the world, like see some things that God gave us, and
that is about the gist of the Micah Parsons interview. He was not really saying much, kind of classy. I don't know, maybe later on he might say something that just throws shade at Jerry Jones. However, I honestly think this was the best for both parties. Micah got his contract. Has he earned his contract? Has he earned the money that he's making now? I think he has. Micah has played to a level where he's earned the contract. However, is he going to be worth the new contract? Now, this is the thing. This is my honest thoughts and opinions on Micah. There have been multiple times in his career, whether it be big games in playoffs or regular season games, where he's been a non-factor. Where I don't think he necessarily warranted being the highest paid, but he's earned his contract because he was next up. And he was the last one to sign. So he's earned it. He played it smart. David Mulugeta played it smart. He's earned it. Now, I also think Jerry played it even better because he got valuable assets in return. And even with Micah on that defense, they were still getting blown out. They were still not able to stop the run, like Jerry said. And in big games, when you needed Micah to come up with big plays, Micah has come up short in numerous occasions, whether it be the playoff games, whether it be last year against Houston or Cincinnati, games that they could have easily been gone better and maybe had changed their fortunes. Against my Niners, I think he was inactive last year for about 3 or 4 games as well. So there was a health issue with him last year, and the year before that in the playoff game against the Packers, came up short. A couple games during the regular season didn't have a huge impact. So, in my honest opinion, for the Packers to make this move and pay him what they're paying him, I think he'll be able to actually be worth his deal with the Packers. The Packers are a much better ran franchise, have a top-tier elite head coach, have good offensive pieces. Jordan Love is a top 10 quarterback, top 10, top 12 quarterback. And he also they have pieces on that defensive side of the ball where they're going to be able to pair him up with Rashawn Gary. You got Mike on the other side. They're deep. They are deep. The Packers are deep this year. And Micah on that Packers defense will be worth $188 million a year over the next 4 years. But if he had signed that deal with the Dallas Cowboys, I hate to say it, there was going to be eventually a conversation if Micah was overrated. Yes, he was the best player on that defense. However, that didn't necessarily mean that defense was elite. He was the best player on a bad defense. Now he doesn't necessarily have to be the best player because Rashawn Gary's on that other side, and maybe he's a little bit better. You got to also take into perspective, Micah had the hype of the Dallas Cowboys behind him. Yes, he put up decent numbers. I'm not going to say he hasn't. But again, maybe he was banking on that overhypedness of being a Dallas Cowboy a little too much. Now he's not the best player, I think, on that defense. I think it's Rashawn Gary, and we're going to see this upcoming season, okay? But he's going to be worth that $188 million with the Packers. I don't think he would have lived up to his contract with the Cowboys, who ultimately would never have made it to an NFC Championship game. I think the Packers are making it to the NFC Championship game this year. I think they're making it this year. And they're going to be facing my bang bang squad. You're going to see my NFL predictions. That's a little preview. But you're going to be seeing my NFL predictions on, I think, my Tuesday episode of N1 from the End Zone, or maybe tomorrow's episode. You just stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. You may never know what happens. With that being said, that kind of wraps up my breakdown for this episode. Guys, I really do appreciate you all for being here. Please hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Always remember, desire is power. If you desire to be great, you have the power to be great. Ooh, hello, what happened here? Whoa. Always remember you have... please go check out N1 from the End Zone. Oh, no, you are on N1 from the End Zone. Hit that subscribe button. Go check out Shady Mob Podcast, Shady Mob Live, where we break down content, movies, TV shows with Alex the Man Angela, who is back in the States. We're also going to be working on A&A Radio. Go check out Port City Uncensored with J-Man Jack. Go check out Smack CTV with my boy Eddie Mund, where he literally plays Valorant, Clash. I think he's on Valorant or doing some sort of tournament. Got to go check him out on Twitch. With that being said, guys, I really do appreciate you all for being here. Stay breezy. I will see y'all next time.
Guys, have you heard? Nelson, tell the people.
Shady Mob Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons.
Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
You're watching the latest episode of N1 from the End Zone. Please click on that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it.
Guys, join me, Alex the Man Angelov, and check out A&A Radio, where we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest financial news, investments, banking, and personal finance. Check out the channel and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area and want the best cut of your life, go check out Headspins Barbershop, located in South San Francisco, the official barbershop of N1 from the End Zone.
Guys, you're watching a Shady Mob production. Make sure to follow the Shady Mob podcast, where we break down all the latest content and talk about life. Please make sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified when the latest content drops.